I don't know what to do. Alright. I was just thinking, like, I have a rant that where people can understand here. It's weird being a man that, I don't know, I should have got my shit together. Especially being like a man that's like, country boy type of guy, like type of man to be interested in, doing project. Like, I want to have a fucking garage full of tools and be able to work on my fucking car and, be able to, do work around the house and cut the lawn and, do repairs around the house and have a shop where I can, maybe decide I feel like building a table, or maybe I want to have a, little hot blasting furnace and make molds and make things out of melted metal. Maybe I want to get a fucking lathe and be able to do projects with that. Maybe I want to be able to, learn gunsmithing in the fucking garage and like buy a bunch of, broken, guns and stuff like that. Get my gunsmithing license, shit like that. These are things, or et cetera, et cetera. I want to do man shit, but like I can't. These are things I can't do in my position, because my position is like I got a couple thou in the bank and I got a fucking apartment that's like, kind of little studio apartment in an old, like, 200-year-old building. It's basically just the upstairs of some 200-year-old building. God knows what the hell's downstairs. That's like a, super secret, and there's some kind of upstairs that's a super secret or whatever the fuck, right? And it's just like a hallway with rooms on each side. And people wearing, satanic pentagrams and Baphomet shirts on fucking all up and down the hallway. So it's super safe, bums living across the way and fucking doing meth in the fucking park. Like, it's pretty high class, really. So it's like, I don't even have a parking spot. My parking spot is like halfway on the fucking sidewalk in hopes of not having my car fucking like swiped into by the other cars going fucking 40, 50 miles an hour in between the fucking entrance to the apartment building and the fucking sidewalk. Just, the way the streets are, like in a lot of places in this town, doing DoorDash is kind of rough here too, because like the streets were built for traffic, but the homes weren't built for parking. So the streets become a parking lot. So there's no longer much room on the streets for cars to drive, at the speed that they should be allowed to. You have to kind of eke around, fucking, like pull off to the side where there's an empty like parking spot so another car can go past, and then pull out and go around them. And there's not another car behind them, kind of thing, It's just, it's like that here, But I mean, what am I supposed to do? I don't see how I'm going to fucking get a house doing DoorDash. I don't see how I'm going to, if I go work at, some normal job, like what I'm going to do, go fucking work at Burger King. That could be, hey, a little couple of years, you could be manager. And then that's when you make the big bucks. Hey, right? Like, that going to give me enough money to buy a house? Today's economy? Like, I don't think so. Like, is that going to get me a house with a fucking garage and like a shop to work in? Room to actually like work on cars and like do projects and shit? Like, or like, especially the way the world's going right now, I keep thinking like war's going to fucking erupt, and we're in the fucking middle of goddamn World War III, and all the fucking everything's going fucking crazy. I'm living in some shitty apartment where like I haven't even felt like I've been in a secure place for, I mean, the closest thing I had to a secure place was like the mobile home that I lived in at my mom, when I was living at my mom's house. helping I helped out around there, paid rent some, not all the time. Right? It just, yeah, it was fucking, I don't know, shit. I guess I ain't proud of it, but I mean, it was dude, living there was a hell of a lot better than this. I mean, yeah, I have my own bathroom and my own little kitchen space and everything, but it's still an apartment. It's still like, it's, I don't really see this as a step up from living with your parents. If anything, it's a step down from living with your parents. In a lot of ways, like, because before you were like living in a house or a mobile home, and now you're in a little boxy place, trapped in with a bunch of strangers, and you got some, manager that might just wander into your place anytime they damn well feel like it. You can't really properly fucking secure your doorway or like fucking anything because, depending on the place you're living at, I guess if you're paying like a huge amount of money, you might be able to get some place that actually has decently secured fucking doorways and security and shit like that, but like not, yeah. The fucking door frame here is like made out of goddamn particle board or some shit. Like, what the fuck? Oh, God. Something like that. It's ridiculous. Just made out of like a fucking, I don't know, like a less than a quarter-inch thick, thin sheet of like something akin to particle board or something. Like, he's like, what the? They just painted over it to cover it up. I discovered this when the fucking never mind. Never mind. Yeah. But it's like, yeah, this is just, it's so fucking stupid, man. Just, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, would I be better off just to, like, put all my crap and, get my crap out of here into storage and just go live in my fucking car? Like, I mean, but then it's like, where do you go? Like, where do you park where you can actually be allowed to sleep? Like, that looks rough. That looks worse than this. But at the same time, I'm just working all month just to pay the bills and not really getting ahead. And I don't know what job I could get that would allow me to really get ahead, someone who's going to pay me fucking $40-$50 an hour or something, which is about what it would take to really get ahead in today's economy, like, or even $30 an hour. Like, where am I going to pull that without a fucking college degree and specialized fucking training or licensing or something, You're looking at like fucking $14 an hour, $20 if you're lucky somewhere, which is barely enough to even pay the bills if you're lucky. If you just happen to, be somewhere where you manage to find the unicorn of apartments like this shit, where I'm paying like, $900 or something, which is like unicorn apartment, It's like, total fucking slum, but it's like, that's what you hope to find, because you just want to be able to fucking afford to live somewhere other than the street, And like doing DoorDash and stuff, like sometimes I do make like, I don't know, I've days where I made close to $25 an hour, but I end up having to pay for my own gas. And that certainly is not like a common thing, but like sometimes I'll have there'll be good weeks and stuff. But still, it's like not, even if I go out, 5 to 7 days a week, 8, 10, 12 fucking hours a day, it's not, it's not really enough to get ahead. Just be, stuck here forever until I'm out in my car or something, basically. Like, I don't see how the fuck I'm going to be able to transition into a house. I mean, even like a mobile home is kind of iffy, and then it would be in a mobile home park where I'd have to pay a lot fee every month. And a lot of these mobile home parks, the lot fee they charge is fucking higher than the goddamn rent I'm paying here. So it's like most of the places, there's still some of the like old school fucking parks where it's like $400 or $500 a month. Places where it used to be like a couple hundred for the lot, but now it's like, 500 or something. But I mean, that would be nice. But to get one of these fucking trailers is like, somebody has to basically, die or something in order for one of them to become available. And then chances are one of their family members, cousins, or friends or something is going to end up getting it. Right? Or if they did become available and were for sale, they'd be selling them for, probably $50,000 for some trailer that's worth $2,000 fucking dollars or something. You know what I mean? It's like, so I don't know how the fuck I'm going to get ahead, really. It's like, I mean, I want to build up a gun collection and go out in the woods and go shooting and fucking do man shit and, do projects in my garage and, shit like that, right? But I want to have till up the soil and plant a big garden and plant an orchard and, all this shit that you're supposed to be able to do, but I can't because I don't have a fucking, I don't have a yard, I don't have a home, I don't, I don't even have a porch or anything, like, you know what I mean? I just feel like I'm, I don't know. If we didn't live in such a tyrannical country, and, also with the dangers of some of the, like, nasty type of people that are on the streets and shit, then just going out in my car and somewhere and setting up camp and stuff would probably be fucking, preferable to an apartment in a lot of ways. But I mean, of course, if it was a free country, I'd take off and, I'd take off up into the hills or something, and I'd, cut down some trees with a chainsaw or something and carve them up like Lincoln logs and stack them and build a fucking cabin and go fucking Jeremiah Johnson on this bitch, I'd get some fucking, put some money down and get I already have a little bit of like some, basic battery banks and shit, set up some solar panels outside, some basic battery banks and shit so I can charge my phone and crap like that. And I just fucking live in a cabin, build like a fireplace in there or something and start a garden out front, whatever the fuck, right? Start building fucking, fences and sheds and, but I mean, we live in a country now where it's like if you buy a piece of land it's not really yours, and you got all these, county restrictions, city restrictions, zoning restrictions, regulations on this, that. You're not allowed to dig a hole and shit in it. You're not allowed to, you know, you're not allowed to, set up your own electrical wire. You're not allowed to fucking like do anything yourself. Everything's inspected. Everything has to be done in a certain way and requires a lot of money to begin with, And then once you have everything paid off, then you have to keep paying forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And if you ever cease to keep paying forever and ever and ever, then they just take it all from you. Or you go out in a blaze of glory and they do it anyways, That's the world we live in, man. The country we live in. Land of the fucking free. I don't know, I got a credit score like 650 now. So I'm gonna fucking learn my way around how to use that to my advantage somehow, like figure out how to get somewhere to cross the country or something where there's something that's actually somewhat affordable. And go slave my life away doing some menial task to pay off a fucking mortgage or something. But like, I need to get the fuck out of this shit. This is ridiculous. I don't know, man. My parents didn't really teach me anything. And the school didn't really fucking teach me anything. Other than reading, writing, arithmetic, Too much homework makes me sick. When it's time to pass our test, kindergarten is the best. That's pretty much the, I mean, yeah, math and spelling and all this kind of, I mean, the stuff I learned that actually has any value, I figured it out on my own, well, okay, not exactly. I mean, you know what I mean? I read and I watched videos on YouTube and watched, college courses that if you tried to go to college, you couldn't take the courses you want to take and get a degree, because in order to get the degree, you have to have the prerequisite courses, which are all a bunch of stupid, useless shit, so that you can get a degree, and you don't actually take the courses that actually have useful information. You can't just take all these courses with useful information and put them together like a puzzle and come out the other end with a fucking degree. And get a fucking, student loan to pay for that. But it doesn't work that way. You have to get your fucking degree in underwater basket weaving, right? Or whatever the fuck it is, right?
A computer science degree requires a math, language arts, history, and, female empowerment and black servitude. You gotta take the White Man Bad 101, White Man Bad, 201. You gotta go to room 307 and take LGBTQ awareness.
Right. Fuck, what the hell? I'm gonna get into a trade school or some shit, but I'm 40, I ain't got, fucking parents around helping me do shit. What the fuck am I gonna do? And then if you do try to go get fucking training, in a trade, Like, the only thing I know is you got to go to some person who's in a trade and who has apprenticeships and then try to get an apprenticeship. And from what I understand, an apprenticeship basically consists of going and working for free like a slave in the time that as an adult you would need that time to be making money, you know? So if you're working for free, you're not making money, you're using your time making no money, and and then you're homeless, and then, you know, it's not really much of a fucking option. And like, whatever it is, most of the jobs, like from what I see, it's like people, you have to go work like a goddamn slave. Ridiculous number of hours, doing like ridiculous amount of physical fucking, you know, manual labor. Bust your ass, bust your back, bust your knuckles, you know, just to fucking, you know, one day you could make barely enough money to pay off your mortgage in the next 50 or 60 years. Maybe, right? As long as you just keep doing that hustle forever and ever, and ever and ever, and ever and ever, like while we wait for the fucking bombs to fall overhead or whatever, the fucking Chinese and Russian troops to paratroop down, I gotta be like, everything is normal, gotta go to work now. Can't be fucking packing heat around out in the open. Oh, that would be weird and scary. Right? Gotta pretend like everything's fine. While there's like fucking, you know, gangbangers and carjackers and fucking people hopped up on meth, packing heat, walking around up and down the streets. I'm supposed to be like, yeah, I'll just walk around fucking basically unstrapped, naked you know. That's a good idea, right? And it's just... it's weird fucking growing up, like... because in a lot of ways, I feel like as an adult, I feel like I have less rights and freedom than I did when I was a child. Like, far less. And I thought it would be more. I thought I would grow up and like, oh, when I grow up, I'll be free, you know? Be nobody, you know? I grew up like my whole life, people telling me what to do, you know, people bossing me around. And I thought, you know, well, when I grow up, you know, I won't have to put up with this shit. It's like, no, you don't understand, children. Be happy. It only gets worse. It just gets worse and worse. You think your parents and teachers are bad? Wait till you meet your boss, your new massa. You move on from one massa to another massa to another massa to another massa, and you're always gonna have Big Daddy, or I mean Big Brother, you know, whatever. Then you got to worry about the magic man in the sky too, because that guy is gonna, you know, he will burn you for fucking ever if you don't do what he says. And then you got like, you know, the devil too. That guy's a dick, and like, yeah, like everyone is just gonna tell you what to do forever, even after you die, and they're gonna push you around and beat you down, and like that's pretty much the story that you learn is preached from every angle of everywhere by fucking everybody. And it's adulting, you know. I don't know, man. I guess maybe, you know, you got the motivation to go do shit, right? Like, I would be a lot more motivated to get up and go bust my ass and work if I was paying a mortgage or something. If I thought that, there's a fucking carrot at the end of that stick and that's my house. That's going to be my house. I'll have it paid off and then it's mine, and, and I'll have a home. I'll be a homeowner. I'll own land and a home, and it's mine, and my own place, my own thing, my own, space for me and my stuff, right? But I can't even fucking have that. I don't know. It's all almost all stick and no carrot now at this point, and it's like, the carrot now is just entertainment and a bunch of fucking little toys that you don't even have a secure space to fucking keep your fucking toys because the space isn't yours anymore, and it's just you're just renting space to keep your toys or whatever, your stuff, and to have a place to sleep, or a place to keep your food, or keep your food in a fridge that may or may not be yours, in a room that isn't yours, in a building that isn't yours, in a street that isn't yours, on a piece of dirt that isn't yours. And all the stuff that you used to have from home, the homes you grew up in that were your parents, is now sitting in a storage facility that isn't yours, on land that isn't yours. You pay forever and ever and ever for the space that isn't yours, that will never be yours, no matter how much you pay. And it's just, it's fucked, What I've been paying for a storage facility the last 2.5 years or whatever, I could have fucking had could have had a shipping container dropped off in a forest somewhere or something, and stuck a padlock on that shit, put my stuff in there, I don't know, man. If you buy land, it's that's not yours, because people can tell you what you can't, how you can or cannot live there, what you can or, what sort of structure you're allowed to put there, whether or not you're allowed to live in it according to their standards, how big it has to be, how small it has to be, what kind of electrical hookup it has to have, where you're allowed to shit, etc., etc., And it's God damn it, How come we don't ever hear about the environmental dangers of the deer in the forest pissing and shitting on the ground, Think about all the horrible environmental damage that's done by all the fecal matter and the urine leaking into our groundwater, And it's been going on for literally hundreds of thousands, millions of years even. Right? Yeah, I mean, geez, how did we fucking survive without proper septic systems being installed in every place? How did we survive these past you know, however many, hundreds of thousands or million years or whatever without a proper septic tank, being installed and inspected, right? However, did we fucking survive without a fucking properly laid foundation underneath our, mobile home? We put it on fucking blocks, that's how, right? We dug a fucking hole, that's how, But no! And there's still people living all over the fucking country. Mobile homes they put in fucking years ago, propped up on fucking blocks, shitting into a toilet that leads to pipes that leads to a fucking hole they dug in the ground. Maybe has some boards around the edges of it. That's literally like probably the majority of around the country. But if you go buy a piece of land, you can't do that. That's bad. You gotta spend fucking tens of thousands, like, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, like, if you want to fucking start out new, fresh and do shit, like, now. Oh, you think you're gonna go build a cabin, live off grid? Fuck, you can't do that anywhere. Like,
That's against our regulations. We're sitting here in our office and we're really important. We tell you what to do on your land, and you better do what we say. We'll come in and send fucking goons with tanks and guns to drag you out of there.
Like, that's the world we're in, man. It's like, how fucked is this? How the fuck, like, what am I supposed to do? What are any, is there anybody, I mean, I guess most people my age aren't in this, I mean, there's plenty that are, but there's plenty even older than me that are in this situation or worse situation than I'm in, but it's like, what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Oh, you just gotta work hard, save up, and
what? Then I can fucking afford the, $500,000 fucking house? Really now? You know what I don't understand? I don't understand, like, how did the country get to be this way? Like, how has it gotten to this? How the fuck did anyone ever want to live in I mean, I understand there's stores and businesses and things nearby and, like, city areas. But who are all these people that are, like, have money and they intentionally decide that they would rather have a boxy house that looks like all the neighbors' houses, that's like fucking 6 feet away from their neighbors on each side, in a fucking little cul-de-sac, little boxes on the hillside, little boxes, and they all made out of ticky-tacky, and they all look just the same, There's a red one, and a green one, and a blue one, and a yellow one, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky, and they all look just the same. Like, who the fuck wants, like, I don't get, I mean, I would go for that. You want to give me one of those? I'll fucking take one. It's better than this, right? It's a step up from this, don't get me wrong, but, like, why the fuck would anyone choose that? When they, like, if you can afford that, then you can afford, like, acres of land and with, like, a, big ass, workshop and a, house that's, just as nice, if not nicer than that shit, like a fucking, multi-car garage and, all that. Like, why the fuck would you want to live there? I don't get it. That's fucking crazy. Like, who's making these decisions? And like, we should just fucking stack people on top of each other in little boxes. You know. But then, like, I mean, that's the apartment thing. And then, like, how the fuck did it come to this, though? Like, how, like, before the apartment thing became this big thing, like, how, like, whose whose idea was it for people, like, all these people who just decided, like, yeah, we're just gonna buy this house that's, like, right next to all these neighbors, like, what, where we don't have, you know, a big yard to run around in, and we don't have, you know, a workshop, and we have, you know, can't crank our music up loud, can't go, you know what I mean? It's just like, why would you want to fucking live like that? I don't understand why people with money would want to live like that. Because I see that all the time. Like, there's all these really nice, beautiful fucking houses in these cramped little fucking cul-de-sacs, like a block down from, like I could walk fucking 2 blocks from my shithole apartment with, like, you know, cracked out fucking bums on the street and, like, you know, Satanists and trannies and shit everywhere. I can walk like a few blocks down and there's like all these goddamn nice, like, probably $500,000 fucking houses, like, lining the streets and shit. And they're like side by side by side by side by side. They must have, like, if they do have a yard at all, it's got to be like really tiny. Probably like have very little places to park their car or anything. Like, why the fuck would you choose to live like that? Why would anyone design a city like that? Like, why would anyone, and if they did design something like that, why would anyone choose to live that way? Why wouldn't they just be like, no, think I'll go move into the country or something, you know? It's like, well, let's see, I have $500,000, so I could buy this place that's, oh, it's closer to work, though. I mean, like, shit, man. Closer to fucking hell, though. It's closer to hell, though, so we should live here. I don't know, man. I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong, it'd be a hell of a step up from this shit. But, like, that ain't the kind of shit I'd be buying if I fucking had, like, lottery winnings all of a sudden or something. I'm not gonna be, oh, look at my nice house that's right next to all the other houses that look exactly the same. Like, why the fuck? No. Like, my dream place would be more acres the merrier. Place that I could farm, you know, get a big farm going. And I wouldn't even be like that focused on money, but I could do part of it for money. If I was going to do, you know, farming for money, then I would, like, set aside, you know, a large portion of whatever land I had would just be focused on, like, one crop, just one single thing. One thing, you know, like, I don't know, whatever, you know, whether it be microgreens or blueberries or raspberries or hazelnuts or fucking, you know, flowers to sell to florists or whatever the fuck, you know, it would be something like that, or a, you know, big apple orchard to try to sell the apples, or you know, some like that, right? If you were gonna, that's what all the, you know, big, you know, farmers that make money off the, or wheat, you know, or hay, straw, alfalfa, you know, whatever the fuck, right? they focus on their space on one thing or another thing, and they do that for their money, right? But I would want, the kind of farm I'm talking about is like, I would want to just grow a big huge garden for the sake of growing a big huge garden, and make as much of it perennial as possible, so that it's, you know, somewhat low maintenance, and set it up to be as low maintenance as possible, like, you know, a fucking perennial food forest type of setup, you know. That's what I think would be cool. And since we're talking about dreaming here, like one of those, you know, nice big fucking like 2 or 3 story, like, you know, Sears catalog houses from, like, you know, the early 1900s and shit, like, but like renovate that, you know, renovate it inside, you know, add like, you know, better like wiring for more power, and like, you know, maybe like, you know, knock out some walls to make some of the little tiny rooms bigger and stuff like that, you know, bigger kitchen, you know, so on and so forth, right? That would be my thoughts on that sort of thing. I'd like to have a big, you know, barn, or, you know, some big, you know, pole barns and stuff. Have a place to have, like, you know, a workshop and garage to work on cars too, and to park, you know, park my stuff and everything, right? That would be my dream, right? But hell, I'd be happy with a old mobile home on a piece of land that was mine, and I could build some sheds and, you know, garage or something to have set up a workshop or whatever, places to have my tools and work on projects and stuff. So do my fucking, you know, garden, you know, food forest type of deal there, you know. Just something, man. Something that's fucking mine, you know. A place that I can call home. Because I haven't known a place I could call home. The last time I remember feeling like I was at home was when I was a little kid at the fucking house I grew up in on 3 acres. But, you know, realistically, that wasn't even mine, you know. But, you know, it felt like it was, because I was a kid and had parents around, and, you know, I grew up there. Grew up with, like, surrounded by farmers and hay fields and cattle, and, you know, had freaking bunch of cows right up against the fence, you know. But even pet the cows sometimes. Walk up to the fence and I'd give them, you know, apples and shit off our fucking trees, and, you know, stuff like that. I mean, I'd go over to my friend's house. They'd have like 40 or 50. Their parents would have 40 or 50 acres in a barn. Would, you know, crawl around in hay forts and ride down zip lines and go run around and play war in the forest on their land and stuff. You know, help my friend build a cabin in their, you know, woods on their land. Cut down the trees with an axe and handsaw and cut them out in the shape of Lincoln logs and built it into a little cabin. We built everything, but I wasn't there to finish the roof. I was there to do a lot of the work for everything else, though. like at least half the work. I was, it was just me and Carl that did that. I mean, I could build stuff like the old, I don't know. You ever been to like, Astoria? Now they have like some old remake of Fort Clatsop or some stuff like that. Like they have some old old forts that are supposed to look like old Civil War era forts and stuff like that. Like I could build stuff like that. Especially like imagine how much easier it would be with a chainsaw than fucking axe and a handsaw, you know? I could build a cabin. Just like, but like I've seen like another person or two, like number of people go out and do stuff like that, but like they always end up getting fucking, like within like a year or less, they end up with, government coming along and saying, you can't do that, sending goons to chase them out of there or whatever, even if they own the fucking land. They bought a piece of land and they built a cabin on it and they did all that stuff and they did all the right things. Government comes along, you can't do that, And I see this happening all over the country, And it's like, I don't know what the fuck to do. There's this one guy, I saw his stories about him, posted on YouTube, and then later I saw in the news them talking about it. Well, he's, like courts have decreed that he's not allowed to live there and have ordered him to tear it down and all this. This guy fucking built like a, I don't want to exaggerate, I don't remember the specifics, but it's something like 50 or 100 stories tall. And I think that's totally an exaggeration. It's many, many stories tall with like 100 rooms or more or something. And this guy just built it by himself out of like, pretty much mostly free scrapped materials that he found. Cheap and or scrapped materials that he found. He built like this big, he got a bunch of windows and put them together and to let natural light in, and got, lumber, and he, used some, cut down trees and on and on. He just like did, I mean, that's maybe beyond me, like, but I don't know, like, I could do something. But like a guy builds something that amazing, puts that many years of effort, hard work and effort, and the government just come along and say, you're not allowed to live here, You gotta tear it down. Like, that's just where we live, man. It's like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, where to go, like, just to have some modicum of freedom, And at the same time, like, I'm wondering, like, what am I even doing? Going out working, trying to make money to pay bills when, like, we're fucking, we're in the fucking apocalypse, like, goddamn World War III going on and shit, man. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Would you like fries with that? Like, what the fuck? have drills at the fucking Burger Kings and shit, right? Remember, everyone, duck and cover. Duck and cover, right? It just... Oh, it's a new feature of our Burger King establishment. In the back, you will find the armory, where you... right? Just conveniently located at the rear of the kitchen, right? Fuck. In case of war, you will find the armory. Adjacent to the armory, you will find the entrance to the Burger King bunker. Right? Like, what are we doing, man? What are we fucking doing? Like, what am I doing? I mean, other people, like, who have money got their shit together a long time ago. Like, congratulations, guys. Good for you. Right? But, like, I don't know what the fuck to do here. Like, I mean, I see all the shit going on in the world. I'd like to be prepared, but, like, I live in a little studio apartment in a shithole, terrible area, like, and what are my fucking options, I drive a car, car is not a pickup truck, car is not a, van that has more space, vehicles cost more than fucking houses used to cost, even like, yeah, right? It's like, that's a nice car for 2002. Big old fucking boat. Spacious trunk, back seat, and so on. Solid frame. Old school kind of frame. Honestly, these new pickup trucks and shit, and even pickup trucks from the 80s, should not be so damn confident about how tough their truck is next to my car. They really shouldn't. Because it's got a Panther body, or a Panther frame, I mean, Like, I know that I used to have a 89 Silverado, right? It's a good-sized pickup truck. Made 19 freaking 89. And I've been under that thing, working on it and stuff. And I can tell you from, I've seen the frames on, I saw the frame on that. And I seen the frame on, my Ford Expedition that I used to have and other things. And I seen the frame on the car that I'm driving now. And the frame on the car I'm driving now is like way, it will break you. Like, I must break you. Nah, just, I don't know, man. Like, what? I mean, I keep thinking, like, of course, I've been thinking this for a long time, and then it just never happens. I keep thinking that any minute now, of course, I've been thinking this for like 20 fucking years or more, that any minute now, it's gonna erupt into fucking all-out chaos and war. Any minute now, everyone will just be walking around in the streets shooting, and, and it'll just be like the fucking Old West out there, and They'll just, you'll just hear fucking gunshots. You'll just hear like outside all fucking night long and all day long. Like, I thought that like any minute now it was going to get to that, right? But I've been thinking that for like, damn, over 20 years, man. I've been thinking like any minute now it's gonna be like that. I better get ready, right? And now it's like, well, I was more ready where I was before, like kind of half-assed, like. But like I need to get. I still feel like I want to be like properly, somewhat prepared for like if that does happen, but at the same time I got to think about like just keeping a roof over my head, even if it's not my fucking roof. So I can't really afford to do a lot. Maybe if I hadn't fucked up and I'd been working since day fucking one of the inheritance that I had or whatever, then I could have paid my bills with that and held on to that. That would have been nice. That would have been a better part of wisdom. But it's like this, there was this strong fucking feeling inside of me then, and there still is now, kind of, that like, that this is all a pointless fucking waste of time, and that it, like, we're just being forced into living sort of a ridiculous existence that's just supposed to keep us busy and distracted and off guard for when the shit does hit the fan. We're gonna be like sitting there dipping fries in the vat or pumping somebody's gas or whatever the fuck, right? Or sitting there with our dick in our hand in front of the computer screen or something, like, oh shit, they're coming. Right? Would you like fries with that? Would you like to try our special sauce? Don't now! Don't now! Right? It's just gonna be like we're fucking most people. I feel like as a nation, like we're completely unprepared. There's people that are fucking. I'm not saying like people don't have their. A lot of people have preps, and like the people who have money, are better set up. People who've got land, and people who've got a lot of family and friends and stuff like that are better set up or whatever. But like, still at the same time, living the lives that we have to live to get by, to go to work and do all this shit, we're still like pretty fucking unprepared. Like, for the most part, most people, maybe you work someplace where you go there and you and the people you work with are good buddies and y'all got your fucking trunk loaded up with gear and you're just ready to fucking go at any minute and you're just going to be sitting there fucking, maybe you're construction workers. You're just working on your construction site, putting in fucking new tiling for whatever, right? and then all of a sudden, you know, the bombers and you know, or like the fucking the mushroom cloud in the distance. Troops are, you know, fucking Humvees and fucking armored vehicles start rolling down the street. Fucking 50 cals, fucking, you know, what you gonna do, right? You know, are you and all your coworkers gonna fucking like reach in your trunks and strap up and fucking be ready to just start rolling down the street like fucking jihadi style, or like, you know what I'm saying? Rolling like Afghani. Hey, Jed, call up Bubba and all the boys. Get the pickups. We all ready to go now. You know? Like, I mean, some people are fucking ready for that sort of shit, but, like, not a whole lot of, like, I mean, yeah, out in the country and stuff, people got, like, all kinds of, you know. But people who live out in the country have gotten money for the most. I'm not saying everybody does, but, like, for the most part, either you got money or your family had money at some point or something, you know? Because, you know, it ain't exactly free or all that damn cheap to have, you know, a house and land and live out in the country with the country folk and get to know your neighbors and all that kind of shit. That takes, you know, money and time and when you don't live in a fucking, you know, good rural community with good people around that you know and trust and have, you know, good network of, you know, friends and family that actually have each other's backs. Like, a lot of people don't have that shit, you know? I'm sure there might be even people out in the country that don't have that shit, but like people in more city areas and stuff like that, Northwest and shit like that, almost nobody has that except the goddamn, you know, who does have that kind of? Probably the gangbangers, the drug dealers, the tweakers. I mean, they can't trust any of those motherfuckers, but they'll work together to rob and fucking pillage, probably, you know? I mean, most of us will probably be fucking alone or something, like, don't even trust our fucking, you know, neighbors and shit, you know? Our own family, you know? A lot of us are, like, in situations where we haven't even, you know, we don't even fucking get a phone call from our fucking, you know, family members on Christmas and shit, you know? That's just, you know. So I'm wondering, like, what the fuck should I do? What should I do, you know? I just keep, right now I just gotta go, you know, go do DoorDash, go chase that money, get that money, you know? And, like, my only other fucking options, like, I mean, I'd have to keep doing that anyways. But, like, yeah, I'm sure I could go try to apply for some jobs and stuff, but around here, right? Around here, like, I don't know what the fuck I could get, and anything I could get that, you know, and probably ain't gonna pay me enough to do much better than I'm doing right now. Really. And I'd end up having to work, you know, 5, 6, 7 days a week, fucking 10, 12 hours a day. Probably. In, like, shit conditions, just like, you know. God, what was that fucking movie called? God damn it. That old black and white film that they restored. That was a good movie. Trying to remember it. Shit. I'm trying to remember the name of that damn movie, that black and white movie. It's like it's a silent film. I'm sure, never mind, you guys wouldn't. I'm sure most people don't watch silent films. I've watched as many silent films as I thought looked good, you know. And there's some of them are really good, you know. And I've watched some like really old black and white movies, like, you know, Hell's Angels by Howard Hughes, you know. I'm trying to remember the name of that one. It's got. Damn it. Anyways, this one is like, you know, just got all these. It starts out with just all these really miserable looking fucking people, like, coming down from a city, you know, city streets on a fucking, you know, getting into this giant freight elevator going way down under the ground to, like, work in the mines or whatever. And they're just like, ooh, just like trudging through the fucking to the area to work the mines or whatever, you know. And there's just like some super wealthy people living up above the surface in high-rise buildings and like flying cars and stuff, and they're just like ordering around the majority of the people, just like working like slaves in the mines, like. Yeah, right. That's what I feel like we're the situation we're in, basically, you know. At this point, you know, if I go get a job now, like, I mean, what are my options? What should I do? Like, by myself? What do I do now? I mean, and. You know, keep in mind that I guess the only way to do this properly is to pretend as though we're not in the middle of fucking World War III and a biblical apocalypse firsthand, because, you know, if you think about that, then be doing things that make sense for that. Whereas, like, job things and moving forward with career plans and all this kind of shit is not really shit that makes sense for that, because of the enemy troops approaching, right? Because of the fucking, you know, demise of the economy, right? The economy's like going to like hell in a handbasket, right? And housing is fucking ridiculous. Unless you got a fucking, you know. I mean, I guess my best bet that I could think of right now is to try and fucking do it like a lot of other people do it, you know. Try to fucking, like, make moves to boost my credit score so that I can get a fucking mortgage, so that I can get into a place and just move my shit in and then do the drudgery of, you know, working to try and pay the bills until the shit hits the fan. And then I have a place to can just go hold up, and then it's fucking, you know, I guess at that point plan to just go down in a fucking blaze of glory or whatever at that, you know. Got my castle, fucking time to fucking, you know, defend it at that point, I guess. And fuck paying the evil bastard banks, right? At that point, I guess. But, like, I guess that's probably the smartest move I could do. I don't know. So everybody else is doing, like, that's the only way I'm gonna get a house, right? I have to fucking get, like, a mortgage or something and, like, get my credit score boosted up high enough to get a fucking mortgage. And, you know, be working steady enough to be able to fucking get a bank to give me a fucking mortgage along with the credit score up high enough, and then I just have to start like leveraging like credit and loans and stuff like that. I don't know. Just fucking take on a whole lot of debt or something is the only thing I can think of that could put me in a position to like just be in a better physical position to have something that's more defensible. But I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. Either that or wait till shit hits the fan and fucking just go find something that's empty and fucking work with that. I don't know. I just don't know, man. Like I say, I already got a credit score like 650. I don't have any credit cards though. I need to fucking do shit to build more. I need to get more lines of credit so that I can build the score up higher. I'll bet if I got like a credit card and bought something on credit, not with a credit card, but some other kind of line of credit, like something that I can make payments on. Can you get like store credit at a store? Can I get credit to buy guns? Like, hey, can I have set up a payment plan to pay off guns? Come on now. Maybe you can. Well, from what I understand, more lines of credit is good, and it helps to boost credit score higher. I mean, one line of credit and making payments over 6 months or something, 6-7 months or whatever, managed to fucking take me from 0 to fucking 650. So if I could do something else to have more lines of credit, I mean, shit, that's the only thing I could think of. I don't know how else to fucking have the kind of funds. Like, there ain't no fucking job that's gonna pay me enough. Or, even if I could get some job paying, $25 an hour or something, working full time or something, that's not gonna fucking do it. And there's probably almost no fucking way that I could get a job paying $25 an hour. And nowadays with the cost of things, $25 an hour is dog shit. $30 an hour is chocolate coated dog shit, Just it's not like go buy a house money. Go, hey, now you can have a place that's totally defensible and great, by myself, like without a second fucking income, like actual solid, steady fucking woman that's with me and got my back and working together towards a goal, like 2 incomes, like I can't fucking by myself, like I like sell my fucking soul and get some kind of, job doing fucking evil ass shit that pays enough. Like, I don't really fucking like the idea of selling my soul and going and doing evil shit. Congratulations, you're hired. You work for one of our government things, right? That's pretty much what that, like, yeah, all the jobs that have the big fucking, like, the benefits and the money and the this and the that and the where you can like go buy a house and be a respectable member of, you have to work for Satan basically. Essentially. I mean, or like, if you had some kind of business that became very successful, congratulations, good for you, doing it right, yay. That just doesn't look like it's in my fucking, immediate future or anything. Unless I suddenly win the lottery. Had the finances to. I mean, if I had a shitload of money to begin with, I could fucking have like success, good businesses going very fucking quickly and shit, but there's just so many damn hoops to everything. Like, when I did have money, I thought about trying to, open up a storefront or something. I don't know. I hadn't had a lot of time to think because like I didn't have enough money to just do some, easy peasy business that I don't have to do fucking hands on. And I know that I know a lot about retail items and where to get them cheaper, and that I could like fill up a store with things that I could get at like a wholesale price and then make a fucking profit off of retail sales if I, had that storefront and could get the people in there buying stuff. But and don't be so, just do eBay. Like, psh. Yeah, it works for you, I guess. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what the hell to do. I guess figuring how to, build and leverage credit is probably my best bet at this point. If I don't even know if there'd be time for that, man. Ain't nobody got time for that. I mean, really, how much longer do we have until it's just like blood in the streets? Like, how much longer? Or are we just gonna have are we just gonna soon have a peaceful transition into global slavery that everyone accepts without resisting whatsoever? Wouldn't be much of a transition, would it? I mean, who cares how many guns we got if we ain't gonna do nothing? Right? I mean, ultimately, we're like in a fucking, ruled by an empire kind of thing, and it's like, I don't know, how do I describe like the political situation? The political situation essentially is like, well, okay, you look at the political situation as you know it now, or what you think is going on. If you don't, the politician here and the politician there and the war over there and the this and the that. But what if I told you that actually, the moon was the Death Star, right? And Darth Vader was sitting up there with like Darth Sidious, and that actually the Sith Lords were controlling the entire, all the governments of the planet were working for them, and I'm just coming with a hypothetical, right? I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm just saying, like, let's say, say that, that, let's say that was the case, right? And the Imperial, stormtroopers or whatever were just dressed like your local magistrates and so on and so forth, right? Your local enforcers, and so, what on? So the people who put boots to ground and boot to ass, like those people, are, dressed in various different uniforms to match their supposed duties working for the political figures that you believe are in charge, who are actually taking their orders from, Darth Vader up in the Death Star there. So if you were to stage a revolt against the political figure, do you, like, how much would Darth Vader give a shit if he could just put another one of his Sith Lords in the place of the other one that's pretending to be a politician? Like, he doesn't care. You know what I'm saying? So there's no revolution that's possible unless people realize that we gotta fucking, and I just realized how funny this is when considering the fucking Hamill bullshit that just fucking. I guess we can't count on fucking Skywalker. He went fucking straight up Sith on us, right? Skywalker joined the dark side. Yeah. Should have known. Like father, like son, right? Oh, shit. Oh, man. No, but seriously, like, say that was the situation. Because hypothetically, like, as a, like, or should I say allegorically, that is the case. So from an allegorically, that is what's really going on. Like, that's an allegory for what's really going on. Which is to say that the real powers that be are unknown to the vast majority. So no resistance to their power is possible. Like, nothing that an organized group of people, there's nothing that they can do because they don't know who to go after. Like, besides, you don't even have any starships. You need starships. What the fuck? Right? How are you going to take on the Death Star without fucking battle cruisers, man? I mean, come on. Right? That's another allegory, so to say. I mean, yeah, honestly, I don't think there's really much we can do, like, especially since, nobody knows about Lord Vader up there and so on, right? And the other Sith Lords that are gathering, and the things that the real powers behind the dark force that's taking over our world. Nobody knows about them. Like, almost nobody knows about them. And those that do know about them, or nobody listens to them, so who, so who the fuck cares what they say or what they know, because it doesn't do any good. You can't, I don't even have a fucking lightsaber, man. I mean, let alone a fucking, battle cruiser. I can, what am I gonna do? Nothing. Jack shit. Right? So I just have to go about like this thing that people claim as life here, and you know, to the mine, to the mine, to the mine, to the mine, the million diamonds shine. Oh, we drink the whole day through. We drink. That's what we like to do. Now I'm just in the mine. Nah. Whistle while you work. Do. Now it'd be different if the bag full of, gems was yours, If you're working in them, shovel and a pick in the mine, Seven dwarfs, Gotta find the diamonds for the evil queen. Or whatever, right? Just like what? I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do. Like, honestly, even if I was like a multi-millionaire and I could go buy a ranch and set up my workshops and really be, stocked up on supplies and have, hardened perimeter defenses and so on and so forth to the best of my fucking ability, it would be pathetic compared to like the reality of the dangers that we're in as a civilization and the type of things that we could come against. It would be nothing. It would be a and I don't know how the fuck I wouldn't know how I could, even if I had like $1 billion. I mean, I could try to help the world with $1 billion or something, like that much money. I could put in an effort for sure, but I don't know what the fuck I could really do. Like, what would actually have any fucking effect, positive, like, effect on the scale that's needed for the survival and betterment of humanity, to bring about a future where there's hope that our, children and our children's children would have a chance for freedom and prosperity. Like, I don't see how that's freaking possible at this point. Like, well, I'll leave you with something that, and I think this dude was a communist or something, man. So I'm not a freaking communist. I'm not a diehard capitalist either. Like, I don't like the isms. I don't like fucking isms. Like, all the fucking isms can go fuck themselves, Isms need to be cast out of this fucking world. The belief in authority needs to be cast out of this fucking world. But I don't think that's gonna, I don't think that's ever gonna fucking happen. But what was it he said? There becomes a time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. And you got to put your body upon the gears and upon the wheels and upon the levers, and you've got to indicate to those that run it, to those who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all. You know? So as long as the machine, as long as all the cogs keep working to keep the machine going, then the machine just keeps going and going. And that's just going to keep on keeping on, and everything's just going to keep on getting worse. You know? That's pretty much how it is. I mean, as long as everybody keeps going to work and chasing the paper and doing the job for the paycheck and keeps the system going, as long as everybody keeps, delivering the milk and keeps making the fries and keeps pumping the gas and keeps fucking delivering the shit, to the people across, and on and on and on. As long as that keeps going on, as long as everybody keeps showing up and putting their fucking boots on and picking themselves up by their bootstraps to go be a good cog in the fucking machine, the machine's going to keep on running, and it's going to keep on running until it runs us all down into the ground and grinds us into the dust. And that's just, pretty much a fact of the fucking life, and I don't see any way that that's going to fucking stop, man. I mean, people will work for free. They feel like there's some kind of fucking, there's like a pride in it. It's a virtuous pride thing. It's virtuous. It's good. God wants us to work. Let's go do, it's just this, it's like a fucking religion or something, man. And, everything that we want, everything we need to survive requires us to do it. So, I mean, the men that fought in the Revolutionary War, I'm trying to remember the words of one of the founders here. I'm gonna get it wrong, but it's something like I'm gonna completely botch this, and I don't even remember who the quote is by. But basically, it's like you got to get, our lives, our sacred honor. We pledge our lives, our wealth, and our sacred honor for the, to further this cause, basically, right? I mean, the men who took part in the revolution against the British, these men put up their homes and all their money, everything they had, into that cause, into the, men with, there were probably, numbers of men with wealth that like bent their plowshares into spears, and or their plowshares into swords and their pruning hooks into spears, and sold everything they owned and bought a sword, kind of thing, right? That's the kind of resolve that it took for them, and they were up against, muskets and sabers and musket, little cannonballs and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Guys riding on horses, some, and people just marching in a straight line across a field in bright red coats, That's what they were up against. Like, we're fucked, basically. Essentially. There could be dragons. It could be, what was that movie with, God damn it. Try to remember that movie. That was a good movie. I thought. Entertaining. It's got, dude that play, damn it. Seriously. Forgetting the names of major actors. That's terrible. I do that sometimes, man. Even actors that I really like and stuff, I'll just be like, spaced them. And I know their names. I just, sometimes things go, poof, disappeared from the brain now. Brain fart. Perpetual brain fart. Nearly, Well, dragons took over the world, and, like, they're fighting the dragons, and... No, anyway, so... Like, the way I see it, like... It seems to me that we're in such a situation now that there could literally be, like... There could be, like, millions of dragons flying around, torching the cities, and... just, like, swooping down and picking people up and eating them... And this fucking machine would just keep going on. And people would keep getting up and strapping on their boots and going to work to I gotta fucking make the coffee, gotta start the fries. That would just keep going on. And just find new ways of, there'd be like a armored bus that would come out front of their house to pick up the Burger King employees to bring them to the Burger King, and they would have, like, heat-resistant shields on top of it, right? There'd be, like, buses to bring the citizens to their jobs at the fucking, at the mall or whatever, right? I guess mall is an outdated concept at this point, but you know what I mean? Basically, like, it just, same old shit, right? We just adapt so that we could just keep going and being slaves, keep that machine going. We gotta power the machine. We've gotta give our fucking bodies and our lives and our souls to the fucking machine so we can get the paper, so we can pay the bills, so we can take that money and give it back to the machine that's just sucking us dry endlessly forever and ever. Right? That's our fucking life. And, like, really, that goes for people even with a lot more money than I, even people who have, like, ranches and stuff, like, or and, like, millions of dollars in the bank are, like, in a hell of a lot better position than I am. But at the end of the day, like, at the end of the day, we need a greater mass of people to be able to behave, with, intelligently in an organized fashion, to fucking work together and not to make the fries and pump the gas and whatever the fuck, but to Stop feeding the fucking beast, man. You know? Stop feeding the beast. The machine. Machine men with machine hearts and machine minds. You know? That's... It's like I don't know what to do. I kind of almost feel like almost any effort I take to like be more well defended just to try to survive is almost a pointless endeavor. Surviving to what? Like so that I can like what am I supposed to do? Memorize the Bible so that I can walk through the wasteland like that fucking movie, right? Oh, seriously, you forget the movie too? The fuck? Brain fart, yeah. I'm pretty brain farty right now. It's like fucking 3 o'clock in the morning. I should have been asleep like 5 hours ago or something. Book of Eli, yeah. Just wander through the wasteland of the freaking ruins of the world that once was. If I can survive to that point, right? Not to do a lot of horrible things to survive to that point. Just to be alive to that point. And then I can wander around in the wasteland searching for cats so I can make something like lip balm out of them or something and something to eat, you know. What's that stuff? You see it all the time back in the day. Oh yeah, pussy. Right? Takes on a whole new meaning, doesn't it? Ugh. I don't know. Is it worth it if you get a Mila Kunis sent to your room? Maybe. Right. I don't know, man. That is a problem. I feel like, you know, the type of people that he was running into in that movie, you know, all working as roving gangs, doing horrible shit to people, you know, like that. Probably like very realistic. Because I see those people around everywhere. Like, and there's a lot of them. They got a lot of them got a lot of friends. They gather together in groups, like pack animals and shit. You know, like yeah, that would be a thing, most likely. You know, a lot of the good people are just fucking alone. Plenty of them fucking defenseless. Like I don't, you know, or helpless. Like pretty much. There's a huge portion of the population that like if in a world like that they would not be alive like for very long at all, or they would just become completely wicked in order to survive and become part of some big group of led by evil bastards just doing whatever the evil bastards tell them to do, you know. What does that remind you of? Oh yeah, the world we live in right now already, except that we have this thing called civilization, right? I don't know, man. Freaking crazy world. It does though. Like, I wish I would have done things differently. You know, a couple years ago, 2.5 years ago, or whatever the heck little it was when I had all that money. I should have just started working right then, immediately. Well, I mean, first I should have got fucking thousands of miles away from where I am to the fucking other side of the country where there might be like better people around and stuff, and tried to find some work there. If I would have known how to build a credit score back then, like I could have already had a 750 or something, or to think if I would have known anything about like this basic steps to get a credit score in the first place, like I could have got a fucking, I probably could have got approved for one of the, like a house to rent or an apartment in the first place, and I would have still had a whole lot of money left because I wouldn't have blown it all on a fucking motel if I would have just had a fucking credit score, you know? That might have fucking made the difference and got me into a place. I just had an established line of credit in the beginning. But I was I was foolishly thinking that if I just looked around, I'd be able to find a mobile home for sale or something. Well, first I thought I could find a cheap house, you know, and that I could just figure out how to, wire transfer money to somebody over in fucking Missouri or Georgia or Kentucky or whatever the fuck over in some real estate agency. I'd just be like, hey, I want to buy this house. How do I send you the money? How do I go about coming down, getting the keys and getting my deed to the house? I'd like to send you some money. But like that was something that like I could not fucking achieve. It was not. It was $50,000 in the bank, and there were houses that were like, I was finding houses that were like $10,000, $15,000, like thousands of miles away. I can't just go show up there that easily. Like I guess I could have. I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess I could have put forth more effort, but it's like, I mean, I swear to God, like even with the money I had, it was like it's hard to even get anyone on the phone. It's hard to even get a hold of a real estate agent, and the people you do get a hold of don't seem to know what they're doing. They don't seem to know anything about the houses that they have listed. They don't have answers to any basic questions like, hey, how's the wiring? How's the plumbing? Is there a roof on it? Does it leak? Is it a clean title? Basic fucking questions, Hey, can I just move in there and fix it up? Or some, zoning commissioner going to show up and tell me I can't live there and fix it up? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was trying to figure that crap out and I couldn't. So money just disappeared as I was trying to figure it out till it got to the point where I just like getting pretty goddamn worried, start drinking myself to death. And like, I mean, obviously, like when I got down, I was looking at fucking mobile homes too, because like I was willing to jump on a mobile home, just a fucking trailer. I thought I could find a fucking fixer upper mobile home for a few grand in some park that had $500 a month lot fee or something, and just go in there and talk, get a hold of a manager and say, hey, I don't want to buy that trailer. Here's money. And they'd say, oh, thanks. Here's the keys. And I just fucking go in there and start bringing fucking building supplies and fix shit up, and ta-da, here I have a place to live. But that's, not how fucking shit works, apparently, in the world now. So that's why I'm in the situation I'm in now. That because like I didn't realize that was the case, that it was I didn't realize like how completely fucked everything was now, like how much of a clusterfuck, how much red tape and bullshit you have to deal with to do anything, you know and that people who have places for sale aren't even like don't even care enough to like answer a phone, or real estate agents don't even know anything about the places that they're listing, and on and on and on. Like I didn't know these things. But I thought you could just fucking buy some place on the other side of the country and have ownership from 3,000 miles away and just drive the fuck over there and pick up the keys and shit and move the hell in. But no, like, I don't know. Well, yeah, I mean, okay, yes, that is kind of the way it works with a real estate agent, but that only works, but they're only interested, the only shit they know anything about is, the $250,000 places and the $500,000 places. They don't know jack shit about the $15,000 places. That's just not even on their radar. They'll, drive by and snap a photo of it at 50 miles an hour and fucking post it up on the site, but they don't know shit about it. And you gotta be there in person, and they ain't even gonna be interested in fucking talking to you, because they don't give a fuck about your commission. They just want that big fat whale commission of the guy that's buying the fucking $1 million house and the $500,000 house. And they want the guy who's got the deal with the bank and the mortgage. They don't want a guy to come down there with cash and buy something fucking outright. It's a big fucking, pyramid scheme con game, basically. I didn't know these things. Now it's like, I don't know what to do. I don't fucking know what to do. I guess the whole working on the credit score mortgage deal is the fucking way to go. I guess some of the but without finding, finding a mate, finding friends, having community. Like, what good to, like, I could have four walls and a roof over my head and own a piece of dirt and I could be able to do things, but when shit hits the fan, like, I mean, I'm just gonna have to be like, what's that dude, I'm gonna be like fucking, if I did own a place, like, and shit goes to hell, like, more than it already has. What's that name? The principal off of, Back to the Future? Back to the Future 2 or whatever. Biff goes back in time and, like, New Hillsdale, runs outside with a fucking, body armor and a shotgun and shit. Like, get off! The fucking people shoot up his house. He runs outside, like, shooting at him with a shotgun. Slackers! Like, is that just what the fuck you have to look forward to here? Like, just... I mean, I see the level of inflation just, within, even since, like, just in the last, like, 20 years, even, or the last 25 years. But, I mean, I can look back, the last 30 years, like, hell, if it really, the level of inflation, like, there's a huge amount of inflation just from, 2020 on is enormous. And it's looking like it's just going to get worse and worse. They just keep printing endless amounts of money to go, not to help out the American people, but to fucking send over to, like, foreign countries and to send to fucking, foreign militants to ship them, into our communities and fill up our, all the big apartment buildings that they're building around here, around every fucking small town, so they can fill them with illegal immigrants and give them a bunch of fucking money and, so on and so forth. Like, that's what's going on, and it's just like, all the money they spend to pay for people's fucking, sex change operation for the toddlers and shit, or whatever the hell, right? It's just like, we're fucked. Like, what am I supposed to do? Really? Like, what am I gonna do? I heard this guy on a podcast I listened to talking about how, like, oh, it's a simulation, and saying, like, go do some heroic shit or whatever, right? Well, like, it's not a hell of a lot you could do, I mean, go do some... I'm not gonna go do some crazy shit, but, like, even if a person did go do some crazy shit, there's not a hell of a lot you could really accomplish. Not really. I mean, you got, like, a whole lot of people that are really bad running shit, and you could know who they are. Maybe you could get one and be clapped in irons for the rest of your fucking life, or dead, Even if you could get fucking close and get one, like, it's not fucking worth it. What good would it do? They'll just fucking, like, replace them with somebody fucking equally or even more as evil, like, and fucking, 5 minutes later, here comes the new fucking bad guy, to take their place. It's a fucking pointless waste of fucking time and waste of energy. I wouldn't do it. It's like, what's the fucking point, right? It's like, because, like, it's fucking exercise in futility, really. Even if you could take one chop at the root, it wouldn't even make the slightest fucking dent. Not even. Just be filled right the fuck back in. Grow back fucking bigger and stronger than it was to begin with. Like, that's... Now, if you had a whole big fucking, massive crew of loggers, on the other hand, that weren't hacking at the branches, but were, then maybe. But that ain't likely to ever fucking happen. Like, that's just pointless to even think about, really. Just gotta, chase the paper until the paper is entirely worthless, I guess. I mean, that's the world we live in. And, look at people in places like Venezuela and Cuba and shit, man. Like, they get up and go to work to live in fucking hovels or something. Like, in a sense, you could say they have they live in a freer land than we do, in a sense. I mean, they have to go take a wheelbarrow to the store to get some bread, and the grocery store doesn't have anything but maybe like a freezer full of hot dogs and some government cheese and, a few cans of food, and maybe they could get bread. Maybe, maybe they got some powdered milk if they're lucky, They can live on that, and they'll work all day, and work and work and work at their jobs or whatever, because you gotta feed the machine to feed yourself, right? It's kind of how it's set up. So it's like, even in those places where their fucking currency is so devalued that they have to, cart a wheelbarrow to the store to carry all their fucking money, their, trillions of fucking dollars or whatever for a loaf of bread or a couple of hot dogs or something that they have to... They're, countries where the money is so worthless that you look at a picture of their fucking city streets and there's just like billions of dollars, trillions of dollars, just like lining the fucking streets. Just garbage, There's like landfills. There's like piles of it just laying in fucking piles. Because it's so fucking worthless. But they still go to work. They gotta buy the bread. Like, is that what we're gonna do here? I mean, look at... I mean, when does the unfairness of all this and the robbery of it all, the outrageousness of the cost of living, of the cost of housing. Like, when is it too much? When does the outrageousness of the ridiculousness and the surrounding circumstances that we're surrounded with, when is it enough? When is it enough for people to be bothered enough by it to stop putting up with it and stop, and fucking say something, start to, talk to people about it and get together, and you know what I mean? When is it enough? I mean, does the brain surgeon have to fucking, live in a cardboard box or something? Was that enough? Do the pilots have to fucking, live under a tarp in the woods? Does the airline pilot have to, like, sleep in a fucking luggage bin or something and then get up and fucking fly the airplane? Like, is that where we gotta fucking be? Does it have to get that far? Because I don't think it's, like, really all that much, all that ridiculous to think that it's not really all that fucking far off to where we'll be to that point, pretty much. I mean, and for those that haven't already, got land and houses and shit already a long time ago, like, it's pretty much just about, like, already there, I mean, like, this so-called apartment that I lived in before this, like a year and a half ago or whatever, for like 4 months. It was just like 200-year-old house or whatever, like this thing. Except this was more of a, I don't know, maybe a little factory business or something at some point, I guess. But, like, that place, I just had this little room in the basement. You got, like, fucking spiders that are big enough in low light, mistake them for a mouse. Like I had no bathroom of my, shared bathroom, shared kitchen, shared fucking microwave, shared everything, with a bunch of strangers, but there were other people living. There was a fucking college professor guy living there, total left wing, fucking, commie propagandist guy, and there was this dude working at, like, fucking, Hewlett Packard or something, and there's people living the same way. The place next to us, the same fucking sort of deal. There was, like, a couple. Apparently there were apparently they were well, that doesn't matter. Never mind. I don't even want to get into that. Never mind. That part doesn't matter to the story, I guess. They were, yeah, special. But they were a couple of optometrists that were living together, that were renting something similar to the shit I was living in, right? Because that's what they could afford with two incomes as optometrists. Like, that's... Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they were renting the whole fucking house. Maybe that's what they were doing. Still. Yeah, still. Like, even if that was the case, like, that's still pretty bad that they would be in an area like that, in an old ass place like that, and having to rent instead of buying a house, you know what I mean? Like, that's fucking bad enough. But I think they were just renting a fucking room like I was, though. You know? And I mean, they were. And then you had, like, college kids with their parents' money and shit, Also, shit like that. But I mean, almost the people who had cars there, like most of the people living there that had cars, they had fucking like nice, fucking expensive ass fucking cars and shit, Living like that, like, dude, driving some, fucking hot rod, damn near brand new looking sports car looking thing or whatever. Living in one of those apartments. Oh, there's a lot of the fucking LGBT, ABCD, EFG shit going on everywhere. But that's a whole other fucking. I don't know, man. It's just like the cost of living is ridiculous. The cost of everything is ridiculous. And I don't know, like, how they keep us distracted with all this crap. Then when it's just getting to the point where, like, we're all going to the fucking poorhouse. Like, except for, I mean, there's some really rich that have, and people who already have their shit together. They already have land and a house and, plans to defend it and all this kind of shit, but it still ain't gonna be pretty for them either, It ain't gonna be pretty for none of us, man. Like, unless you got your own fucking private island or something and billions of dollars and stuff, like private fucking mercenary squad working for you, or your Billy Jim Bob and his farm with his 20-30 member family and his wall of AR-15s or whatever. Those guys will fucking be halfway alright, but and the gangs, but like people that are just like living in their apartments and their normal friends and all this kind of shit are gonna be fucked. And people who don't have close-knit, close families that have each other's backs and, like a sense of real community and stuff like that, fucked. Like, if shit hits the fan. And if it goes totally crazy out there, man, it's gonna be with the situation the way it is now, like the fucking way things are in this country now. Like, it could go fucking real bad, especially for people who don't already fucking have, like, real people they can really fucking trust around, because it's like, it'd be real hard to trust people in a situation like that, when there's so many fucking people that are just out that are, not honorable, that are legit fucking the type of people that would, that desperate enough they'd, slit your fucking throat so they could steal your food or something. Like there's because they're hungry or whatever, right? Like there's fucking people like that, they're hungry and nobody's gonna stop them because you ain't looking or whatever the fuck, right? There's fucking people out there that are just slimy ass fucking people, and there's a lot of them too. And I think a lot more people that are are not in that situation, that are not like that now, are of that sort of fucking ilk, like that sort of personality. Like they got no fucking no honor, no fucking no moral compass. Like there's a whole lot of that. I think a whole lot of people that are like entirely lacking in a moral compass that would do horrible things to people that don't fucking deserve it. Well, I mean, a simple analogy is like that's the saying, easier taking candy from a baby, or so you hear people use that saying about how something is easier than taking candy from a baby, right? Like there's two types of people out there, man. When shit gets rough, there's the type of people that literally would take candy from a baby because they're fucking hungry and they want that fucking candy. And there's people that would not because they care more about that baby than they do about their own fucking stomach, and their own fucking desires. And that's, I think there's I think we live in a world where there's more people that would take candy from the baby, like literally. I might cook a baby up on a fucking barbecue and eat it or something if they were hungry enough. Like I think we got a lot of fucking people like that, dude. Honestly, I really think so. It depends on where you are, I guess. The kind of people around, but I don't know, man. I know there's good people, but like when you're stuck in like the city environments, even small towns and stuff, even a lot of small towns have become like this, have become overran by a lot of people that are just like, they're gonna do what they gotta do for and I think the way society is set up kind of breeds that type of fucking mentality too, you know. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of fucking questions that could be put forth in that. Like if you're living in a world where like would you become Negan, you know? Well, never mind. I mean, that's a bad example. The situation he was in that fucking story, like at least in the first place, trying to get medicine for his wife and all that, right? Uh, like what he did to the people that robbed him was kind of understandable, you know. I mean, yeah, I would have done that, right? I would have bashed that. Yeah, and the guy fucking robbed, got my wife, all this other shit, right? In that situation, that's different, right? But like as it goes on into the future, as he becomes this like warlord leading a bunch of people just to go fucking rob and murder and fucking enslave people, like that's fucked up, you know. But we're already living in a society that's kind of based on that sort of ideology of, having somebody else leading us and putting aside our morals to do things that are fucking horrendous because, Negan said so. That's just what we do, and we celebrate it, you know? And that's, yeah, like war, You're a hero because you went over to a foreign land and did a bunch of horrific shit to some people, you know? Home team, right? People you didn't even know that didn't do shit to you in the first place. That's the difference. I'm not saying that violence is uncalled for in all circumstances. I'm saying that going out to, self-defense is one thing. And there's gray areas, but there's a lot of stuff that's just straight up dark. And you hope to never cross that line. It's a mad world. I don't know. In a way, in a sense, there is a part of me, although that it's less and less now because I've gotten older and I've what's that he says in Apocalypse Now, the beginning of Apocalypse Now. Every moment I sit in this room, I get weaker. Every moment Charlie's out there in the bush, he gets stronger. So yeah, it's like I'm kind of fucking. I know I see myself like nowadays, especially as I'm older, feeling like I'm more domesticated and shit. I spent so many fucking years turning the other cheek and like just not as many as you'd think because like I wouldn't bend over and fucking go do it for so long. But I'm a lot softer than I fucking should be. I'm a lot harder than your average fucking person, but I'm a lot softer than I should be. Yeah. But I don't know how the fuck to stay hard in a world that seems to require you to be soft and to behave soft. You know? Because going hard in this world doesn't get you nothing but prison or death. Or parades, I guess, if you go that route, work for the government. Yeah. know, man. If shit was gonna break down, go crazy, I wish it would have happened fucking 20 years ago or something, man. You know? Yeah, kind of. I don't know. Because I feel like this greater, self-reflection and greater moral fiber that I sort of developed over the years, and all this philosophizing and thinking about how things ought to be, maybe is good for my soul, but is it good for my survival in a world like this? Probably fucking not. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's kind of true though, man. I mean, like they send people to war, they make monsters out of men. They make them do monstrous things, act on instinct, do harm to others. Breaking the instinct to hesitate, to care about another human life. You know what I mean? The moral fiber of the human being that once existed within us all, perhaps does on some level since our very birth. It's all become muddled, and just this world, it seems to be. It's like this world is designed to make us into monsters or destroy us if we refuse to become monsters. You know? To rob our souls, to rob our very nature from us. The good nature. I don't think we're born evil. I think we're made that way. By the evil world that surrounds us. That beats us down. That I mean the whole fabric of our society, everything about it, from military, school system, government, like parenting even, like everything is built on this Pavlovian model of just, it's all built on, what's the first step in the process to creating a person that fits in with our society? The breaking process, right? Breaking the human so that he can be rebuilt in their image. You break a person so that you can turn them into something other than a person, basically. Something that will fit into a society that is inherently wicked. enough rant for now, I guess. I don't know what the hell to do. I guess I just gotta go out and fucking robo-dash. Go freaking be a robot and deliver food to people. I'll just go be a robot that delivers food to people. Phone says go, I say yes, I go pick up food, deliver food, drop off food, drive back to a location, wait for an order, go get other next, do it. I am good robot. Look, I make money. Ooh, money gone now. Paid back to machine. Right? Like, that's pretty much... I don't know what the fuck to do about it, though. It's just... It's either this or... homelessness, basically. Unless I fucking win the lottery all of a sudden. Or suddenly somebody... Yeah, win the lottery, or, suddenly some woman with a house or a mobile home that could use a little help with the bills falls madly in love with me, and we move in together, and now I have a family, and now I'm in a better situation, more able to, but I still have to do the same shit to pay, or, something similar to keep paying the bills, of course, but the, huge leap forward as far as getting, the moving forward and getting ahead to eventually reaching a destination that would be something more sustainable. I want to have land. I want to have a farm, I want to have a chance of surviving this fucking doomsday scenario that seems to be, looming about, encompassing about us, the darkness that, seeks to devour us, and the, wars that are not just coming but already here, and the apocalyptic shit that's already here. Basically, it's so fucking crazy. You ever get this feeling like you're in a war zone, but you have to walk outside and walk down the street unstrapped and pretending like there's not a war going on around you, because we're in occupied territory, and there's no, I don't know, maybe there are little organized groups or whatever. I don't know. But what the fuck can you do, even as a little organized group? Not much of anything, really. Very little try, I guess. I don't know. Go back to the old Jesse James days. I know, fucking what good that would accomplish, though, really. I don't know. I don't know, this is how I see war, basically. Ultimately, in most, if not all, circumstances, large-scale organized war, if it gets divided up into two groups, is essentially two large groups of bad guys that get together and decide to murder each other. And whoever murders the most, declared the winner, becomes the good guy of history. And so it continues on, and the cycle goes on and on. And whoever claims, it's just. I mean, I guess really it's not like the story of history is not a story of. The story of like the history of like the world being what it is now, and all the different, forming of nations and all this other stuff. It hasn't been, farmers planting fields and harvesting crops. It's been men butchering one another until enough of them can agree that it's time to cease the butchery for a little while and rebuild bigger, stronger, more powerful, so that the butchery can be even gloriouser, more glorious on the next go around. That's pretty much how it goes, right? It's just like get insane. I mean, could you even imagine like what kind of world we could have if it wasn't like that? Like if all those fucking resources, and all those men and all those, all that, all the human and material resources that are put into just destruction and mayhem were like, farming and building, great structures and building, irrigation and, working with the lakes and the rivers and working with nature to feed and house all of humanity and to better all of our lives. It's like if we were all just collectively working to better all of our lives, basically. Like, could you imagine? Like if we all just had homes and lands and grew gardens and fucking, traded with one another for, tools and lumber and crops and so on and so forth, and just, like certain times in history where it has been kind of like that. It's just, I will trade you some lumber for your, for a wagon of, leather or whatever, right? It's just gotten so fucking crazy. I'm keeping myself up all night when I need to make myself go out there and chase the paper and be a good fucking food delivery robot. Quiet brain, food delivery robot mode. Food delivery robot mode. take the paper. We love the paper. We love the paper. We worship the paper. Serve mammon. Do it! Serve the mammon! Do it! Alright. Alright then.